have already passed the NOCTI, so we only have one that did not, and she will have the opportunity to take that test next year. Have no doubt that she'll pass it. Next slide, please, Brandon. We have one phlebotomy student this year, and she has already passed her certification test. And we're waiting for our one pharmacy tech student to take that test. I think that's coming up in the next week and a half. I don't remember the exact date. Back to those nursing students who are in the track program, all 11 of them also passed their M&A test back in earlier in the year, most of them in December. We have 11 students who are track completers in the electricity program. 6 of those passed the track test. That's an increase from 25% that passed in the 21-22 year as seniors. So that brings us up to 54.5%. I do want to point out that that is an extremely difficult test. Statewide, the pass rate usually hovers around 34%, and it's a very difficult test, but Mr. Hayes did a really good job this year. Emma is one of those that passed the track electrical pre-apprenticeship test, and very proud of her, and the other 5 did as well, and several got really close. But that was a really good accomplishment for that program of Mr. Hayes. We also had the opportunity to offer an OSHA 10 certification class this year. Curtis Burton last summer went through the 2-week program with EKU to become an OSHA 10 certified trainer, and then that allows him to be eligible to pass that or offer that certification to our students as well. 20 of our seniors decided to take advantage of that, and that's just 10 hours of safety training, and that gets them that OSHA 10 certification, which they can take to them. And some industry, even in our area, will recognize that OSHA 10 certification, and helps get students interviews, maybe even gets a little time cut off through the safety program that they may have in place. So that's a good certification. It also stacks on top of some of our other industry certifications and adds, I think it's a quarter bonus point to some of the high demand pathways or certifications that we offer. Overall, our post-secondary, that's our latest buzzword that we use now, our post-secondary readiness rate for this year with our completer seniors is at 81.33%. And that may creep up 1 or 2 more points. My goal for this year school-wide was 71%, so we've actually surpassed the goal that I'd set at the beginning of the year. And that also includes not only the industry certifications, but it also includes the ELP test, inter-program assessment test, and then having, under the current standards, having taken at least 1 dual credit class in that respective program. So again, very, very pleased with that, and that falls back on our teachers, Teacher Appreciation Week. So, you know, again, a shout out to all the teachers in Rockcastle County, everyone that's in the educational process, but especially our teachers, and then the students as well, because those are the ones that are passing those tests, getting those industry certs, and getting ready to go out and be successful, either in a career or continuing education. So with that, next slide, Brandon. We will start off with, forgot about that slide. That was back from February, which was CTE month, National CTE month, and we were able to have Judge Holbrook and Representative Brady come by and do a proclamation signing with us with our RATC Student Council. We have a small student council that we occasionally meet and talk about school issues, and that was kind of a funny story. Mr. Bray wound up having to do something with some cattle or calves, and anybody that's been around farming very much knows that sometimes those things happen, and so he had to come in a little bit later, and he missed the first photo op. So that's why, even though it was on the same day, we gathered the students back up right quick to get back in here right quick so we can get the photo with it. But that was a good day, and of course that was a good month to celebrate CTE. Next slide now. So what we're going to do is take some time now, just a few moments or a few minutes to allow a student from each program, again, to talk a little bit about their experience. And the only guideline I really gave them is just tell us what the ATC has done to benefit you or help you. And hopefully they say positive things. I've not heard any preview of this.
Well, I have to say is so my name is Tara Welding, and I've been in the program since my freshman year. And fun fact, business is actually the only program where you can start and stay your whole high school career. So some of the things I can say that have definitely that I can carry over from this program has been the certifications and the different, like we do some job training in there that you won't really get in different programs. Like we're kind of taught to what to expect after high school. But one of the biggest takeaways has been the environment. I joined the program really just because my friends were. I wasn't really intending to stay. I was like, okay, everybody else is kind of taking this. But after being there a while, I just realized the love that these teachers have for the program and how much they put into it and how much it really inspires each of the students to kind of, okay, let's get serious. I want to give my all for this. So really after about sophomore year, I kind of decided I want to go and further my education in business. And so right around this time, I started working in retail at Cracker Barrel. And this is where I kind of discovered my love for like retail and stuff like that. So I kind of, junior year is when you kind of specialize and decide what do you want to do with your life and how can these teachers help you get there. So I kind of sat down with Miss Castle. I was like, so this is what I'm interested in. And she was like, well, here's your course of action, but it depends on you. I was like, okay. So senior year rolls around. I end up at a co-op opportunity with Brandon. And this is where I learned kind of I like working on computers, but I don't want to do this full time. I want something that works with computers, but retail also. So after a little bit of college exploring, I learned that I want to major in supply chain at UKU, and I've also learned that my certification I have received in the program, which is Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and I have my end of program certifications in marketing and business administration. So I've learned that these will also save me class time at EKU, and my co-op experience goes towards further internships in the future and stuff like that. So I would just say definitely a lot of kids join these programs because, oh, my friends are doing it, but everyone stays just because of everything you get out of it and the environment you find once you join. And I would definitely say that if it weren't for this program, I definitely would not know what I want to do in my future. Because, like I said in the beginning, it was, well, I might do this, or I might do that. But I definitely say that just coming out of it, I've learned that there's so much more to it than everyone realizes. And if it weren't for the ATC itself, I don't know where I would be in my future. So I just, big shout out to Mr. Cook and everybody there. So that's all I've got for now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Last minute cheat sheet here. It didn't make it on the slide because I just got the information today, but it ties into what Kara mentioned about her Microsoft Office Specialist credentials that she earned. Currently, the MOS certifications are not, in the way that we're teaching them, not utilized as official indicators at the state level, but because they are in demand around us by business and industry, we go ahead and offer those in addition to the credentials that do count. So it's extra, it's bonus material, so to speak. So we've had 29 students total in the business program to achieve their certification in at least one of those three areas, and several in all three. And a lot of these students are sophomore, juniors, so they'll have the opportunity continuing on to get the rest of those. So I meant to mention that a while ago and forgot to, so I wanted to bring that up because Kara mentioned that reminded me of stuff. So now, Reagan Road.
As he said, my name is Reagan Ramsey. I started the ATC school in, my freshman year. When we chose classes in 8th grade, I didn't really know for sure what I wanted to do. There was all kinds of career pathways that you could go in. So I chose welding because I would work at the garage with my dad, and I wanted to learn how to weld. I thought when we toured the school that the health science program looked really cool, but I honestly did not think that I was smart enough to do anything in the health science field. So later on in my sophomore year, I was choosing classes, and my mom talked me into taking the health science program. So I took it that year. It was the year of 2021, I think, to 2022. It was a hard year. We went to school like every other day. We weren't hardly in there, but I liked the content and I liked what we did. So I decided to continue on. You can only take the health science program for 3 years. I could have started it as a freshman and took a gap year, but I started as a sophomore. So my junior year, we went into that room, and they sat down with us on the first day and told us that there was dual credit opportunities. So as a junior, I ended up taking dual credit classes that I'm going to be going to Somerset and taking nursing classes and going to nursing school. And so now I get to use those dual credit opportunities and the classes that I took towards my college credits, and that puts me ahead of where I should be starting as a freshman. So we took all those classes, and it was hard, it was challenging, but it was very worth it now that I'm a senior. So once we got to senior year, I decided at the end of junior year that I wanted to take the SRNA class and become certified so I could co-op. So that summer, last summer, Miss Childress got us hooked up at the hospital to start our track program as PCAs at the hospital. So I had the job opportunity to start working last summer, and I worked at the hospital, and then we came to school this fall, and we took our MNA class, and we got certified. Now we co-op every day, and we have a paid position. We're making money and going to school half a day, which I think is pretty great. I work after school too, and I've had tons and tons of opportunities laid out in front of me that I would have never had starting my freshman year if I didn't take the health science classes. I wouldn't be on my way to go to nursing school now, starting in the fall. I just wouldn't be where I am. I wouldn't have the job I have. It's a very good paying job, and it's a place that once I get out in the real world, I can keep that job, and that's just not something that it's associated with school. But I've got dual credit, a job. I've learned so much. I'm up at the hospital, and I get real experience with real patients that other people, when you start nursing school, some people have no idea. They've never even stepped foot into a hospital. And I have that job, and I've had those opportunities, and I couldn't be any more thankful for the teachers and Mr. Cook and all of them for putting up with me for my 3 or 4 years I've been in the vocational school. But yeah, that I've just had that all laid out in front of me, and it kind of pushed me towards the career that I'm going towards now. So, yep.
So I have a question. Did you learn how to weld too?
Kinda. I was wondering.
But listen, when you become a nurse, not many nurses can say that they can also weld.
Yeah,
So you did great. Thank you.
So I am J.T. Kelly. All y'all know me. And I've been in welding for the last 3 years. That's about all I have to say. Thank y'all for your time. No, welding has been a great experience to take, and it's something that I can always fall back on in my life. I don't regret taking it one bit because I've learned a lot about welding, of course, and a lot about stuff on past school stuff that I can get into. Welding is something that people will always need. Anything hands-on is something people will always need because you can't get anybody to do it anymore. And welding is it's a well-paid position, and so it's something that I can always fall back on in life, and that's the main reason that I'm so happy that I was able to have that opportunity to take that. I don't see that being something, you know, that I pursue as of right now, but like I said, if, you know, something ever goes wrong in my life, I can always fall back on welding. It's taught me a lot of, you know, life skills and a lot about how to you know, how to do hands-on stuff, how to do stuff that I, you know, always have somewhere to work, something to do, and, you know, never have to be in a position like, what am I going to do with my life, you know. It's a great program, and you learn so much, and it's so much more than just welding. Like Mr. Cook said earlier, I had the opportunity to take the OSHA 10 certification, and I passed. So that's something that will always look great on a resume for any job, really, and then something that, you know, might cut down on some safety training that I have to take at some point. I took the I can't remember the name of it earlier, but it was the welding test that was on the presentation. That helps a lot too if you're applying for a welding job, because, you know, they know what you're talking about, and that's less they have to train you on. So welding is a great program, and I've been in it for the past 3 years. My freshman year, you can't take any of the electricity, welding, automotive, and health science, right? You can only take that for 3 years. So my freshman year, I had taken electricity, and that was when Mr. Jeff Draper was still there. And I had planned on taking electricity on through and continue with that. But my junior year, or my sophomore year, excuse me, I took welding, and just kind of fell in love with that. I still planned on going back to electricity, but Mr. Curtis Burton, the teacher, he slipped me $20 and told me to stay. Said that. But no, it's been a wonderful experience, and I would do it all over again. So thank you all so much.
JJ, if you mind me adding something, when we visited RJ Corman this year, they were talking about the welding certifications needed to work there, and our students in the welding program already had all those certifications and wouldn't have to go through schooling. And we all know RJ Corman is a very good place to work, good money, good insurance, and you're very well taken care of. So a lot of our welding students who pass those certifications can go straight there and work and have full benefits versus having to go through the school and the internship and the practice. They have all the practice they need to go straight there. All right, remember that.
Hold that one, just go back, please. There again, seeing the picture there of the Hoster Yale fork truck, and it's bright yellow and black. Those two gentlemen there, Jeremiah Mills and Landon Kurt Sr., are two of our first co-op students back to the Hoster co-op. So Hoster used to do co-ops with us years and years ago, and probably the last time they did one was early 2000s, right after I started teaching welding. And then their co-op program as far as high school students dissolved. And this year they reached out to myself and Mr. Burton and asked if we had any students that might be eligible and able and willing. And those two gentlemen stepped up and have performed really well this year. They've got really great reviews. I've heard through other employees at Hoster how well they've worked, how much knowledge they came in with. So I wanted to take the time to brag on those two students as well for what, because it's a big accomplishment. They brought in students from schools from several surrounding counties, and ours have been bragged about quite a bit as far as their work ethic and all that. So I felt the need to mention them as well and brag on them a little bit.
My name is Daniel Wilson, and starting out, I had never had any clue what I ever wanted to do, could not make my mind up. And I took other programs before this, and it's never really, just couldn't see myself doing them. But sophomore year, I took Automotive, and very quickly realized that I like doing that a lot, but still never seen it as a job I wanted to do. But quickly, I I realized that's what I wanted to do. And by late junior year, I had a part-time job I got at a local diesel mechanic shop here in Mount Vernon, and the majority of my AAC certifications, and by late senior year, I had all of them, and through my work experience and all the training through the school, I had a Ford dealership in Danville reach out to me through the teachers at the ATC that's now got me a promising future to a good career that has a future that will always be in demand. And through that, I've learned a lot. And if it wasn't for the ATC, I probably still wouldn't know what I'd want to be doing.
You are going to take the position?
Yes, I talked to him this Monday. I already signed up.
For a very, very, very good starting salary.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
It's a lot.
Look at that.
Congrats.
I'm Emma Phillips, and I'm the electricity representative that came here tonight. I started off like Reagan. I didn't really know what I wanted to do in high school. High school was scary that first year, and so I decided to take health science because it seemed quite girly of me to do so. So I took the health science class, and I was miserable, to be honest. I didn't like it. I knew it wasn't for me. And so the next year, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to be a rebel. And I took electricity. I was like, yeah. Who's going to tell me to be, that's not a girly job. I can do this. So I signed up for electricity. And I fell in love with the class. I love the idea of, like, learning to wire up your own house and your room and how to know how to fix all the outlets and all that stuff. So I loved it. And I pursued it to my junior year. And my junior year, our teacher, Mr. Draper, accepted a new position, and we were without a teacher for 2 or 3 months. So once again, it was a very rough time. We were starting to do bookwork all the time, and we were always learning about the science of electricity and how everything works. And it was rough on us. And then at the end of last year, Mr. Hayes was hired, and he's just made this class so much fun, and he's made it a promising career for us. And that's what I really love about the RATC is my teachers, and especially Mr. Cook. I know he's always going to be there for me and anything I need. But then Mr. Hayes, I mean, that's the best hiring this school has ever done. He has done everything in his power to prepare us for the future. He doesn't care whether we want to go to electricity or not, which a couple of our students do and a couple of them don't. And he still teaches us how to become workers. And I think that's the most valuable lesson I've learned through our programs are how to become a valuable worker. So Mr. Hayes, I'll probably tell on myself here for a little bit. There was a point where I had a B in his class, and I went up to him and I was like, Mr. Hayes, why do I have a B in here? And he was like, because you're not a worker. You're just doing the work. You're not a worker. And I was like, well, I did my stuff. Like, what's the problem? And he was like, have you ever wondered how it's going to be in a job? Do you just walk over to your, when you get done, you go and sit in the break room? And I was like, and he was like, no, you go around and you help other people complete their task. You don't just sit and do it on your own. He was like, when you work out in the field, it's a team effort. So that's something that I found was very valuable to learn because all in our high school classes and our curriculums, everything is based on your own work, and you get graded on what you do. Well, Mr. Hayes has graded us on how workers should be. So in junior year, we had to clean for the straight 2 hours we were in. Just clean. And it was part of your weekly grade too. So, and he was like, and he said, that's going to apply in the real world. When your boss asks you to clean the floor, you better make that the cleanest floor ever, because who knows? If someone's cleaning the floor better than you, they're going to be the one that gets bumped up. So he's really taught us to be hard workers, and I feel like that is the most valuable lesson I've learned through the RATC. While I think it is super cool that when our garage outlets weren't working that I was able to change them, I thought I was really cool for that. It's still a lot cooler to know that I know what is expected of me when I go to work rather than just be completely shocked and confused on why I get fired just like that, because I do my work and just sit down. I know that I'm supposed to help other people. And since I was the last class representative, I decided to kind of make an acronym of what the RATC stands for to me. So R, something that I've learned for the R is respect. I've learned that you always respect everyone you work with and everything you do and your bosses, and respect others, respect your work. You don't treat it bad. You treat all the equipment that we are given very well because it is very expensive. And like in our electricity classroom, we get to work with motors, and you have to respect that you don't turn the motor on without the teacher being there because he is the master of this. We are just the apprentices if we pass our track test. So I've learned to respect others a lot more than I ever have before. The A I put down, always do your best because you never know who's watching, you never know who's grading you, you never know what's going to happen. If that one day you were sweeping the floor, you're having a bad day, you didn't do well, how that's going to impact your future from there on out. T, I said that stands for teamwork because it's a new thing to learn when you learn to work with other people, and it's hard when you're someone like me and you've always had taken these classes and tried to be the best, and you don't want to help anybody else because you want to be the best and look the best, but that doesn't look good on you in the real world sometimes. So teamwork is something that I've learned, and I've learned to work with others, work with my teachers, and not be afraid to ask for help, and it's all one big team in the classroom. And then I could not decide on anything for C because there's so much that I could say, like we all are working for a common goal. We're a community. It's competitive, and I think that's so valuable that we've learned to be a community and we've worked together and we've learned how to be competitive workers and how to get that leg up. So our OSHA certifications, they gave us a leg up as students because although we do want to be a team worker in the workplace, you have to be competitive to get there. And I've learned to be competitive. And then I had wrote this down, but Mr. Cook kind of mentioned it. We got to go on some field trips this year, which has definitely prepared us for job opportunities. We've had 6, I think, maybe 5 or 6 electric companies come to our electricity classroom, basically offering us jobs because they've seen our shop, they know what we know what to do, and so they have directly been offering us jobs basically and handing the applications to us saying, fill this out, we will give you a job. And like, it's just awesome to learn that much. But I didn't plan on going to electricity. I'm pursuing college because I want to swim in college, but I do know what is expected of me when it comes to a job, and I've learned that through RATC.
Appreciate each and every one of you in the comments that you made. They're honest comments, and and I realized early on as a welding instructor that not everybody will become a welder. And, that's a little shocking at first, that first year you teach because you have a passion for your trade, whether it was welding, automotive, electricity, whatever. What you quickly realize is that you have an opportunity to influence their lives in so many different ways and to try to help them find their way to become a good employee. And oftentimes, most of the time, that's more important than even the trade itself is trying to instill those ideas and notions in their minds, and you can tell that that's worked with these, and I know they'll all be successful at whatever they choose to do. And the fallback plan, Mr. Kelly, my original plan was to be a state trooper, and I've got a bachelor's degree in police administration, but you see what I'm doing now, right? Those two years in welding back in high school serves me well. So you never know what direction you may turn and go. So again, I appreciate you all.
I had a question.
Yes.
The young man what was your name again? I'm sorry. Daniel. So you've already got a job offer and you're going to be taking this job. So will you go? Are you working for them right now, or when you?
I'll start for them in about 2 weeks.
That's pretty impressive.
They offered me full paid for training on everything, all expenses paid, and I've asked for weeks of vacation. Everything I've asked for, they gave me.
Smart guy. Ask them up front.
Yes, he did negotiate some terms and that's, right out of high school. So he negotiated some terms to his employment. And, well, anyway.
Can I ask, I'm
Yes,
sorry.
ma'am.
Do you, is anyone in your family, ever a mechanic, or is just, did you grow up?
My dad did some on the side where I've kind of watched, but still, I never liked doing it.
That's
proud of each and every one of them, really am, and proud of their teachers as well. And I'll wrap this up quick because, you know, we do have 3 career and technical organizations or clubs, as they're commonly called. These like FFA are actually co-curricular though instead of extracurricular. These student organizations are designed to be an integrated part of the classes from the very beginning to the end. So FBLA, of course, that's the Future Business Leaders of America. That is the one that covers the business program, and you can see there some community service projects that, well, not in that one. I guess that's a trip to Asbury, and then we also had state competitions recently. Carol will be going to Atlanta. Yes, going to Atlanta here in June to compete at the national level. Next slide, Brandon. We also have HOSA, which is the health science student organization, and those pictures are from, okay, yeah, those are from state competition, and then the one in the center is actually that was last week. You didn't go on that because you were working. You were working. That was mostly juniors, I think, that went on that trip to Central Kentucky Blood Center location in Lexington, toured that facility. It was very educational for them. And actually, those 2 young ladies there on the left will be representing us at Dallas in June at the, it's actually international HOSA competition there in Dallas. So proud of them. Next slide, Brandon. And then finally, Skills USA, which represents the all the trades, so to speak, as far as electricity, welding, automotive, and then outside of our school, it goes far beyond that. Those programs into carpentry, EMT. There's a lot of different programs across the United States that Skills USA represents. And if you're an older person like me, it used to be called VICA way back. But those are a few pictures from, well, it was regionals on the right, and then state competition there on my left, anyway, depending on how you're looking at it. And then the medals once they got back to school and took a picture there. And again, just all across the board, a great group of students participating in those student organizations this year. Brandon, next slide. That's fine. Was that it? Okay. Sorry, I lost track of them there. And I also want to point out that Miss Kara actually did the PowerPoint presentation for me. I threw some pictures at her, and she organized those, put that together for me, and I greatly appreciate that. It's been some very busy days, and it was very, very, very helpful and very appreciated that she took the time to do that. I reviewed it before coming over here, but I lost count of the slide numbers, so there we are. So that basically sums up, gives you just a brief snapshot of our facility throughout the year and some of the accomplishments, and then an example of some of our students. And we've got a lot of students. I mean, this was just kind of, you know, going through. I'll just, yeah. But at the same time, we got a lot of best ones over there, and it was easy to come up with students because there were so many that we could have chosen from. So again, appreciate the time. Does anybody have any questions for me?
Impressive
Very
students.
You got students
Thank
going
you.
to national skills too, right?
They could not raise enough
Okay.
money in time. The turnaround was so fast, and it was an opening closing team, 7 members, about $10,000 to $12,000, and they had a 3-day turnaround to be able to say yay or nay, and it just was not in the funds for the club. It's unfortunate, but that is one downfall to some of these team events, especially opening and closing, and you don't know. I mean, you don't know when you go there to compete, if you're going to win or not. And it's just too quick a turnaround to try to get that money raised for that body, that organization.
It's still great you had kids qualify for
Yeah.
national in all three groups. That's outstanding.
Very impressive students to talk without looking at something that tells me that they spoke from their heart and they really love the program.
I knew they would all be honest, and that scared me a little bit. Because nothing's perfect, and we try our best every day. That doesn't mean we don't occasionally make mistakes or there's something that we could do better. But I knew they would be honest too, and I wanted you to hear that, even if it made me a little nervous. I feel good about it now.
Very impressive. Thank you all. Happy, so all of you are seniors. I wish you a wonderful, wonderful life, and Rockcastle County supports you in your future endeavors, and we're very proud of you. Congratulations. Congratulations on landing a job already, and you haven't even graduated yet. And just, you all make us look good, and hopefully you will come back and stay in Rockcastle. And, we hope you don't go too far away, but wherever life takes you, right? Thank you all very much. Operations and actions, as was stated before, that was amended to add a 4Q and a 4R. Are there any questions? Everything was pretty self-explanatory to me. So with that being said, we need a motion to approve the operations and actions with that amendment.
I'll make a motion.
All in favor? Item 5A is review and approve the monthly financial report. Ms. Jenny?
Any questions about our reports? We're moving into the finish line here for the fiscal year, finishing strong, and I'm looking to begin that planning process for next year. But if you have any questions on the reports, any expenditure questions, glad to answer those for you.
No questions. Need a motion to approve the monthly financial report.
Second.
All in favor? Item 6 is review the superintendent's personnel action report. I was looking at, we have some folks retiring. It's going to be greatly missed, but I do wish them the very best. I'm happy for them. So Julie's going to be home now to give you a list of extra stuff to do when you come home. We're going to miss our staff, but very happy for them. Item 7 is our, before we move to item 7, how many have you started posting jobs?
We have. So if you look back at our personnel action and you look at these retirements, these jobs are currently posted, and we've already started. Some of them have already been posted for their 2-week periods, and we're starting to hire for those.
And are you having a good response?
Yes. So I was at Broadhead today, and Mr. Nick shared that he had an elementary position open due to a retirement, and he had 21 applicants. So he was thrilled with that.
Wow.
So we're seeing really an uptick in that, especially at the elementary level, and even some, we have, Miss Jamie leaving for music. We weren't sure how that, we would have applicants for that specialized area, but it turned out really positive. So far, and they were doing some science interviews today in the middle school this afternoon. I haven't heard how that is turning out, but had good applicant pool. Yes.
It's good work by everybody to post early and hire early.
Get jobs elsewhere, and Mr. Phillips has been really instrumental in helping us through all of this, so thanks to Mr. Phillips. Thankful to have him in that role, helping us navigate all these new options that teachers have for certifications.
Item 7 is department reports. You have all of those on your unless anyone has a question, and unless one of you want to comment, we're just going to move on. Everyone okay with that? Okay. Item 8 is superintendent communication. Ms. Carey?
So, a couple things I wanted to just make sure everybody was aware of. Again, we will be doing our end of the year lunch on the last day of school. If any of you all are available to help us serve again, we will start preparing that morning and plan to serve by 12:30. We are going to deliver to schools, to all staff. I think that allows them time, camaraderie within their building, and to get their rooms cleaned and to get ready for closing day. So,
Same location?
yes, same location. And again, that is sponsored by Kentucky Farm Bureau, our Rockcastle Conservation District, 4-H Extension, and the Kentucky Cattlemen's Association. So they are all going together. So our agriculture community going together to fund that lunch for our teachers for teacher appreciation. So thankful for them that they're willing to do that for us. Also on the middle school, bid day on the middle school will be May the 25th. So that's a big important day. Tomorrow will be pre-bid day. So we will have different contractors here in the morning going through that pre-bid process, and then the big day is May 25th. So well, hopefully we'll know something relatively soon after that day. And the main thing that I want to mention is Happy Teacher Appreciation Day or week. And gosh, we say it all the time, but we have the best staff. And not just our teachers, we say teacher appreciation, but it's bus driver appreciation and food service and custodial and maintenance and everybody, because we all have to work together to be a team. And I'm very, very thankful. And Miss Jennifer, we had a conversation today. Jennifer did some work at Broadhead yesterday with the food service helping, and it's just really, really hard work, and how appreciative we are of the ladies that are working in our cafeterias. And that's backbreaking work, and they just do it every day with a smile, and just everybody coming together to serve our kids. So we're thankful. And I have cards for each of you to also celebrate Teacher Appreciation Week with, so I'll get those to you after the meeting.
Will we have to have a special meeting for any of the middle school items? Do we know yet?
We don't. We had a construction meeting this morning, and they felt like the June meeting would be the next time that everything would be together. But I'm glad you mentioned that, Matt, because we do need to look at our calendars and schedule a meeting for the end of May to do salary schedule and budget. We usually separate those out because those takes a long time to get all of that done in one meeting. So if you all would care to look at your calendars to see if you're available on May the 25th, which is Thursday.
That evening,
we can do 5 or 5:30, whichever works for you.
or earlier.
I'd probably have to do 5:30.
Okay,
That's fine.
sounds good to
Yeah,
me.
that's fine.
Probably the earliest.
I can.
Just let me know what time. That's the date we chose.
It would be
5:30.
5:30. Misty, does that work on the 25th? Okay. And we'll review salary schedule and budget at that time.
Item 9 is board comments.
I just echo what Ms. Ballinger said about the teamwork aspect, and I think it goes good with ATC. You all may not realize how good our ATC is and how good the partnership between our ATC and our high school is. It's just outstanding. And Mr. Cook, hats off to you, Mr. Bussell, for the work back and forth on that. That's super. But just see it in so many aspects and so many different things. And the longer I do this, the more I realize the headaches that everybody has that are different, that I never dreamed till a month ago how much trouble a train could be. But I get it. I mean, it's a huge deal in the first day of testing, and just so many things, and people that have to work together to make things happen. So appreciate all of you all, and especially our teachers and our folks out in the school buildings.
Happy Teacher Appreciation Week. That's great. And just shout out to our seniors. I mean, that's coming fast and quick. So congratulations to all of our graduating seniors in a couple weeks.
So
told all my things I was going to say. No, program, I think it's important for every student to have a place, and I love how they were talking about some of them learn what they don't want to do instead of going on and figuring that out later. So I love all the programs in the clubs, and I've been subbing some in another district, and I would tell you that unless you're in the school building, a lot of people, they just don't know what teachers do and what staff does. So I have a newfound appreciation for our teachers and staff. So thank you for what you do. It's not just a job, but you're truly making a difference in kids' lives. So thank you.
The only thing a couple things, I appreciate all of you. I hope you realize that I appreciate you. I appreciate all of our staff. Angie had said it, we have wonderful children that are graduating, and wow, it's just humbling to watch them grow over the years. And you know, I was thinking, I had seen something on social media. There's some things about social media that's good, and watching parents brag on their kids, that's a good thing. And I was reminded of we have children that are at Moorhead State that's graduating. We have at Western at the the Gap? Yes, and they're just excelling. I mean, they're not just going through they're excelling at it, and I just think that's a product of all of the staff over the years that's invested their time in these kids. So, but graduation, man, I just get so excited to watch them come across the stage and all their accomplishments. So I look forward to that. Besides that, I have nothing else. Need a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor? Thank you all for coming.